How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
Meet the most capable CR-V Honda has ever dreamed of. The all-new CR-V Trail Sport Hybrid. With all-terrain tires and available enhanced traction control, it's built for wherever the day takes you. Heated front seats and a heated steering wheel, ideal for winter drives and crisp early starts. And with generous cargo space, it's ready for big gear and even bigger getaways. The CR-V Trail Sport Hybrid. Learn more at honda.com/CRV.
What website had you posted your one-year-old child's picture on?
QKids.com.
Okay.
So then,
I need to see the picture. I got to see how cute it is.
This is the plaintiff, Judy Ann Greaves. She says she foolishly signed her son up with the defendant's commercial management company because the guy is running a scam. The defendant breached their agreement by not providing a competent photographer to take headshots of her son and is refusing to refund her money. Well, she's here to stop the guy in his tracks before he takes someone else's money. So she's suing the scammer for $1,338, the amount she is owed. This is the defendant, David. He says the plaintiff signed a contract with his management company and then contacted him 2 months later because she was very upset. The woman who was handling her son became pregnant and she wanted to cancel their contract. When he told her it was way beyond the 3-day grace period, she said she now wanted to cancel because the photographer wasn't available on Sundays. Huh? Bottom line, he owes this woman nothing and feels the judge will agree. He's accused of not getting the picture.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milan in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Judy Ann Greaves, you're suing David. You're suing David's company. You don't want us to mention the company or your last name, correct?
That's
so we'll
correct.
just call you David. For $1,338 that you say he owes you for a return of a management fee plus interest on a contract that you entered into 4 years ago that you say he breached. Tell me what happened.
okay, my son makes the cutest faces. At the time, he wasn't even a year yet. The company, I guess they saw his picture on another website that I had posted on. They sent me a letter. I responded to the letter.
Wait, what website had you posted your one-year-old child's picture on?
QKids.com.
Okay.
So then,
I need to see the picture. I got to see how cute it is. I got to see if this is just mother's love that, you know.
No, here you go. Here you go. Here's pictures.
If he's objectively, like, making great faces.
No, cute faces, cute faces.
That is a very happy face.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
He is beautiful. All right. So you decide to what?
So they sent me a letter in the mail. I responded to the letter. I took my son down there. I met with a guy named Don, and Don told me about, you know, the kids only make $250,000 a year. So they have to, the management companies have to, you know, charge a fee so that they stay in business. And he told me about the photographer.
Wait, slow your roll. I guess John's filling your head with all kinds of stuff. I'm sorry. That your child is going to make $250,000 by smiling?
No, not my child. Children in general, like all the children in the modeling industry, they make about that all combined.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you went there to what? To have them manage it?
To be
the manager of this child or all your children?
Well, they said they could do it for both of the children. As you can see, I have a handsome son.
Yeah, he's adorable.
That's the 6-year-old now.
So they charge you $680 and you fill out this contract, correct?
Correct, I did.
Okay. And then they're going to manage your kids, all right? And what happens?
I give them the money on a Visa card.
Okay.
And
You sign up when?
I sign up sometime in November, I think around Thanksgiving.
November what?
15th.
15th. All right.
Okay.
And then what happens?
I had to wait for a file number, so once I got the file number in the mail, I was able to take pictures.
Okay.
'Cause
And
they have
pictures
to-
is kind of the first step because that's how they
Yeah, they market my child.
market your child. Okay.
Right. So then, here we go. The days that Don told me that the photographer would be available were Tuesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Okay. Is that in your contract?
No,
It
there's
just
nothing.
says that you got to.
It just says that I have to do pictures.
Okay.
Right. So then, in December, my first picture appointment was canceled by them.
What day was your first picture appointment?
I believe like either December 15th, because a lady called me and canceled and told me that the photographer wouldn't be available, that the photographer now has new days, which is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So I told her that wouldn't work for me.
According to you, there's a December 15th, which is a Sunday appointment, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And someone calls you when to cancel?
They called me during the week. So then I said, okay, I'm gonna try to reschedule for Thursday.
Okay.
And I told her, I said, okay. Thursday came, and I told her I can't make it. Thursday's
Why?
not a good day.
Yeah, but
because
why?
I'm a care provider. You know,
Okay.
that's what I do to make my money.
Take care of who?
I take care of elderly people.
Okay. But they're still elderly on Sunday. What days do you work?
Huh?
What
At that
days-
time, I was working Sunday through Thursday.
Okay. So go on.
So I told her it wouldn't work. So then I said, okay, I'm gonna try to reschedule again.
Okay.
And I said, is there any way that I could call the photographer to try to make him come on a Sunday, because these days are not working for me.
Okay.
So I had the photographer number, and I called the photographer many times.
Do you have phone records?
No, that's 2007.
Well, today's the first time I've known about it.
Okay.
Okay, go on.
So then I called Don and tell Don, this is not working. I can't get in there to get photos. Those days are not good for me. I wish you would have told me that the days are subject to change, or it's at the photographer's discretion, because I would have never gave you my money. So then I told him I want my money back.
Okay. What you're suggesting is that an integral part of your contract was that you could have photos taken on a Sunday.
Yes.
Is that in your contract?
No.
Okay, go on.
Right? So then I said to Don, I want my money back. Don said, I'm not giving you your money back. You signed a contract, it's not 3 days. So then I wrote the Attorney General's office. And
Let me see the letter you sent the Attorney General, and let me stop you right there. Who's Don?
Don is my associate.
Okay. So why are you here, and why is Don not here if
I'm
he's
the
the
owner,
one?
I'm the owner of the company.
Right, but who's the one doing all the talking with her?
Well, I did most of it. As you'll see, he only had early conversations with her, and then
Okay.
I dealt with everything after that.
Okay. So what happened?
On November 15th, 2007, she signed a 3-year contract. It has a 3-day cancellation clause, which I think protects both sides, because it protects her for 3 days. She can get her money back. It protects us after 3 days, that people can't come to us a month or 6 months later. When she called Don, her initial response to why she wanted to cancel was because the person who was going to help her through this got pregnant and couldn't help her
Your
anymore.
employee or someone
No,
of her, a friend of hers who was going to help her?
A friend of hers that was going to help her. She called and said that person got pregnant and was no longer
Who
able.
got pregnant?
nobody. That's why I'm like, who got pregnant?
I have no idea, but that's
Okay.
what the
That's
statement
why
was.
Don would come in handy now, wouldn't he? To make
Well,
sure Don's not thinking of a different case.
I have his handwritten
Why isn't
notes.
Don here?
Because he's out of state.
Okay.
I have his handwritten notes from that particular conversation.
Let me see.
That contemporaneous.
That he hand wrote
Contemporaneously wrote.
or that he wrote for court?
No, he wrote it that day, at that
Okay.
time.
Okay, because according to you folks, when she calls to cancel, it's a different reason. It has nothing to do with the photographer.
Here it is right here.
Okay, let me see.
And that was written on that particular day, that exact day.
Who did you get pregnant?
Hold on a second. Client service memo. Single mom wants to cancel, no time to do this. The person who was going to help her got pregnant, no help, too hard. I explained 3-day cancellation clause. Mom read it back to me, still wants money back, going to take us to small claims court. So then what happens?
Well, after that conversation, Don told me that, and I, as the owner of the company, called her to try to resolve the
No,
matter.
you didn't.
Okay.
I called you.
Ma'am, you got to hold on. Don is your employee?
Yes, he is.
Okay, go on.
Yes, he is. And so that later, same day, I explained to her that there was a 3-day cancellation clause, that the photographer for the month of December, which this happened in December, he was not working on Sundays because it was because of the holidays. Christmas fell on a Tuesday that year, so he didn't want to work on a Sunday. I called her back on January 7th of 2008, and I explained that he is back doing Sundays now, and he would be willing to see her on a Sunday. And she actually said that he wasn't seeing, she disputed that, said he wasn't, and that she called me a liar, and said that she wasn't going to go get the pictures taken.
Okay.
So I have to, and then on December 29th of that same year, I again explained to her, I talked to her, and said that you can still go now. We'll schedule an appointment. He'll see you.
A year later?
It was a year later. And she said she refused to go for pictures now because she just wanted to cancel. And again, I reiterated the 3
Maybe
days.
he stopped making cute faces? Okay.
Oh,
I don't understand. When he's calling you up and he's saying, look, the guy will see you on Sundays, why didn't that just resolve it and then you just go now on Sunday in January?
Because the guy wasn't seeing me on Sunday.
No, but I mean, the owner of the company's calling you and he's telling you, I'll make it happen, so let's pick a Sunday. And you're like, no, you're a liar. Why?
At the time, I was just through with them because how could you represent my son and get him work when y'all can't even get y'all photographer straight?
I don't understand what you're saying. You're acting as though the photographer was working 1 day a month and that's unreasonable. The photographer was just refusing to work on a Sunday during the holidays. Why is that so unreasonable?
No, it wasn't during the holidays because when I contacted...
Okay, but in January, the owner calls you up. You don't dispute that he called you and said, let's work this out.
He didn't call me. I called him.
Okay, fine. You don't dispute that in January, which is a few weeks after the canceled appointment. Oh, by the way, you have an affidavit from the photographer, right?
Good.
Now just hand it to my bailiff.
Yes.
Thanks, guy.
It's not an affidavit, it's an email. To whom it may concern, my name is Stephen Schlesinger, and I am a professional photographer. I have been contacted by the company for the last 10 years to photograph their client. As an independent photographer, I schedule my own appointments. I agreed to 2 appointments with Ms. Greaves to photograph her 2 sons, Tyler and Tyrell, in December of 2007. On both occasions, she canceled. I was not scheduling any appointments on Sundays till after the holidays from January 2nd forward, and she never called to make another appointment. So if you're talking to them in January and he's telling you, okay, we'll make it work, at that point you just don't want to do it anymore?
No, at that point, they were telling...
Did you end up hiring another company?
No, I did not end up hiring another company. I got disgusted with them. I went to 3 auditions on my own, but he didn't get the commercial.
Okay.
Because they were looking for a thinner child, not a chunky child. Yeah.
He was a year old. It's like, what would be more delicious than a chunky child?
Well, they weren't looking for a chunky child because he made his face, he did like that.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey, 11 years. So, who has kids? Okay. Youngest kid is how old?
12 years old.
Is he here?
Yes, right behind me.
Okay. Cute kid.
Yeah.
Would you ever make this kid a model?
If he wanted to, yes, definitely.
What do you think the risks are of making a kid a model?
Maybe a distraction from school, feeling like they...
Anybody have an opinion here about the risks?
Exploitation, taking advantage of him when he's young.
True. Now let's talk about the kid. I run this other little website, and I've seen a lot of kids get screwed up who do this stuff. Any danger here in making a kid a model?
Drugs.
Yeah. Oh, that's such an easy one, going inside the courtroom.
You guys have a contract. Your contract says nothing about Sundays, but let's go with your theory, which is that somebody told you, don't worry, this is a schedule. Mm-hmm. Okay? Even if the guy gave you a hard time about Sunday photographs, these are things that get worked out. They're not like, changed my mind about this whole thing. It isn't working out. I want my money back. So your photographer wouldn't photograph my kid on 2 Sundays in December, so you breach. That is not for them to have breached the contract. It has to be a material breach of the contract. That means that they are not advertising your son. They are not marketing your son. They are not. This was like a precursor to marketing your son, was get it together and get the pictures done. I understand if the pictures are too hard to do on a day other than Sunday, that's fine. So they didn't get done December 15th or the other Sunday in December. Stop talking. Okay. And in January, you're having discussions with the owner who's telling you, let's work it out. You're right, he wasn't doing it on Sundays. We'll just work it out. We'll just take care of it now. And you're like, no, you breached, give me my money back. And it's not happening. But are you, just out of curiosity, are you still willing to provide the service?
Yes.
Okay, well, there you go, because I can't order him to give you your money back.
Why not?
Because I can't. Because this isn't a material, assuming the truth of what you're saying, which the photographer says you're lying, assuming the truth of what you're saying, it wouldn't be a material breach. Just get it done. Just get the pictures done on all the other Sundays in the world between 2008 and now. But I know you need the money, but that's not a reason for me to turn around and give you the money. This is a contract. And just like I have to hold his feet to the contract, I have to hold yours. That's my judgment. Verdict for the defendant.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, there comes the plaintiff. Let's find out.
The judge sucks. Sorry. That wasn't nice. He breached the contract. I didn't get pictures, so it's okay, though.
All right. So he did say he was willing to provide the services still to you. What do you think of that?
He just said that because he's on camera. It's
You
not
think?
the truth, yes.
Well, why don't you try him out and see what happens? How about the cute boy? Is he still in the business of trying to get commercials and all that stuff?
Yes, I tried to audition on my own. Yes, I do.
With him?
Yes.
Right? So how about you taking advantage of his offer? What do you got to lose?
I'll see. I'll think about it.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. There you go. All right, step on in here and tell me what's this ever happened to you before?
Never been sued before.
Mm-hmm. How'd you like it?
I thought it was pretty interesting, yes. I like the outcome, of course, but we honor the 3-day cancellation both ways. If it's before 3 days, we have to give all the money back. If it's after 3 days, we don't.
She said you just said you're willing to provide these services still just because the judge was asking.
No,
you.
I'm
True?
willing to. Yes, if she wants to call, schedule an appointment, get her child. Now he's 6 years old. He's not a little cute baby anymore. He's a bigger boy, but we're still willing to work with him. We work with children up to 16 years old, and we'd be willing to work with her for 3 more years.
All right. Take it, Harvey.
Okay, the judge talked about a material breach. What it means is that has to go to the essence of a contract. This was a kind of a minor breach. This was not material, and it doesn't give you the right to get out. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
When you hear Lululemon, you probably think of Align yoga pants, weightlessly soft, like you're wearing next to nothing. That's why you see them in class, at the grocery store, and in the park. But did you know about skirts with built-in liner shorts so you can still jump for the Frisbee? And tanks and bodysuits? With Align's iconic stretch, you won't want to take it off. And with endless style options, you don't have to. Shop in-store or online at Lululemon.com.
When you wanna grow your list size, pop up like it's hot, pop up like it's hot, pop up like it's hot. And when you gotta boost your revenue, pop up like it's hot, hey, pop up like it's hot, pop up like it's hot. Pick your favorite template, you can tailor to your brand. They're Mailchimp-erific, you're gonna be a fan. Mailchimp your marketing with our new customizable pop-ups.
This is the plaintiff, Brittany Johnson. She says she went to the defendant's laundromat to wash her child's school uniforms. And when they were being dried in his defective dryer, they caught on fire. That's right, all her clothes burned up. She called the cops. They told her the dryer malfunctioned, and for some reason, the defendant refuses to compensate her for her loss. She's suing the uncooperative guy for $2,500, the value of her burnt clothes, plus pain and suffering. This is the defendant, Joe Lentini. He says the plaintiff's claiming some of her clothes got burned in one of his laundromat dryers, but the woman has yet to provide him with the evidence. He has never seen one article of so-called burnt clothing. All she gives him is receipts for so-called clothes she owns. He submitted these receipts to his insurance company, is waiting for them to respond, and well, here they are. He's accused of burning up a customer, but good.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff washed her daughter's school uniforms in the defendant's dryer and says the clothes burnt to a crisp. But the defendant says he smells a scam. She never even produced the threads. It's the case of dryer. He hardly knew her.
Brittany Johnson?
Yes.
You are suing Automated Laundry, doing business as Showcase Laundromat. And Joe Lentini, you're the owner?
Yes.
Okay. For $2,500 for the value of burnt clothing that you say was burned in one of his dryers, plus some pain and suffering, I guess to get you to a nice round figure. Tell me what happened.
Okay, on March 21st of this year, I went to his laundromat. I believe it was a Thursday. As usual, I go bi-weekly. And I washed my clothes, and I put them in the dryer, and I sat in the parking lot while they dried, because they were drying for probably about 40 minutes. And the attendant that works there came running out, and she's like, it was a he actually, he's like, your dryer is smoking, your clothes have burned. I already took some of them out, but come in so we can put the rest in a bag or something. I mean, I didn't know what to do, so we came back in, and he used the laundromat phone and tried to call the owner a couple of times. He didn't answer. And when he finally did answer, he was basically saying, I would have to come in tomorrow. It was late. It was like 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock. And he was like, I would have to come in tomorrow to see if it was our dryers or if you put something in the dryers, see what happened. And I said, okay. I asked him what time tomorrow, because I work days. I work at the post office. So I asked him what time tomorrow, and he was like, before 11. I'm like, well, do you have a more specific time than that? I would have to let my boss know what's going on.
I don't think he meant that he wanted to meet with you. I think he meant that he wanted to investigate what was going on, right?
Well,
you wanted to meet with him.
I wanted to meet with him because my clothes were burned. I wanted to see how he was doing.
I understand you, but okay, so go ahead.
I said, okay. I came to the laundromat around 6:30 that morning, just sat in the parking lot until...
Really?
Yes. Until he arrived. And
he gets there at what time?
He got there at 7:30.
Okay.
When he came, he just was like, I would need receipts. Or you have to get me the receipts. I'm like, I don't even think I have all the receipts. Who has all the receipts to the clothes that they bring to the laundromat? So I'm like, I don't think I have all the receipts. He was like, just bring me receipts. I need receipts to submit to the insurance company. And once we submit it, they'll cut you a check. And that was it.
Okay.
And I said, okay. He said he was going on vacation.
So you brought him receipts, and how much in receipts did you bring him?
The first time I brought him around, I believe it was like $700.
And then what happened?
I gave it to the person who was substituting him. He went on vacation, and basically I haven't heard anything. So then I came back the following week at 7:30, because that's what time he came last time. So I came at that time this time, and he was there at 7:30. So he didn't even come out. Actually, the attendant came out, but she told me that he was there. So the attendant that works there was like, he's in the back right now. I said, well, can you ask him? I'm the girl that clothes were burned. Can you ask him what's going on? And she came back out. He said it takes about a week.
Okay.
And I said, okay, no problem.
So you come back a week later.
And when I came back the week later, he was agitated. I was like, I'm here to check the status of my clothes. And he's like, I don't know. We have to wait for them. I said, but last week you told me it would be a week. This is a week. He said, yes, this is the week. And I'm like, the week to what? What am I doing here? I'm just like, the week to what? And he was like, this is the week. We have to wait on them. I said, so you can't call them and check the status of it? And he said, no, it's nothing we can do. We have to just wait for them. And I said, okay.
What's going on? Did you guys put in an insurance claim?
It's presently at our insurance company right now.
Yeah, but how long is it going to be in your insurance company? Until hopefully the consumer gets exhausted from calling you and following up and just goes away into the sunset? I mean, why would it take that long?
I don't know.
Well, that's your problem, though, because the problem is you pay for insurance in order to not have these headaches. So if you're paying for a cheap insurance and the insurance company's lollygagging, you're going to find yourself being dragged to court by your customers if they feel that there's a problem. By the way, did we ever find out what the problem was with that dryer?
There's no problem with the dryer.
Says who?
It says my technician. I have some more evidence.
Let me see the evidence from do you have your technician here?
No.
Okay. So do you have a report by your technician?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And does the technician work for you, or are they an outside company?
Outside company.
So she doesn't bring all the clothes to court. You guys smelling a scam that she doesn't bring the clothes she says were damaged and is asking $2,500 for?
I definitely smell a scam.
Would it occur to everybody to bring clothes to the court when you say that the clothes were damaged?
Yes, you need evidence.
Would you give her any money if she says, oh, I didn't bring them all? Would you give her any money?
No.
Because?
No proof.
Well, there's some proof, but do you almost penalize her because you don't believe her going inside the courtroom?
I have an email from someone named Christina.
Yes.
Who the heck is that?
She works for the company that repairs our dryers.
Okay. This is just an email from someone with a Gmail account in her personal name that says, our technician has concluded that dryer-sensitive clothing, caused this event to occur. How's that going to be authoritative for me? I need to see, I hear the testimony of this is how these cases work. The technician comes in and says, I don't work for him. I'm not beholden to him. My reputation's on the line. I work for the company that does this kind of services. I serviced that machine. There was nothing wrong with that machine, so it must have been that's how it works, not just some girl named Christina sends an email, and then that's your evidence when you come to court. Get out of here. All right, now by the way, you're not told any of this until today, right? That it must
he
have been you?
never tried to contact
Okay, what
me.
kind of clothes did you have in there? Because now, magically, your lawsuit has gone from $700 worth of receipts to $2,200 worth of receipts.
Yes.
How'd that happen? How did it mushroom to 3 times its size? You went to your friends and got a bunch of receipts?
I got some receipts from my sister from when she bought me clothes. I asked her, did she have any? She had some.
And apparently everything you own was in the dryer?
Everything I own was
Well, like there's a trench coat. There's a receipt for a trench coat. Were you drying a trench coat?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay, well then why do you give me a receipt for a trench coat and ask him to pay for it?
No,
because that's part of the receipts that you've handed to the court. A North Face jacket that apparently you're drying, a trench coat. Come on, girl. You think I was born yesterday? Show me. Here's how it's going to work. You are right. I don't find that he's proven that it was your negligence. Something bad went on in the machine, and he can't prove that there's nothing wrong with the machine. We know something bad went on with the machine because his employee runs out and says, it's burning, okay? And we know this stuff got burned. But now you got to prove the value of what got burned. So I'm looking at a tiny little bag, and I want to see what's in the bag because that's the value of what got burned. I am not going to tolerate you showing me receipts any more than I'm going to tolerate his email from somebody named Christina with a private Gmail account saying, it wasn't our fault. I'm going to demand proof. I'm also going to demand proof from you. So you got to show me now all those uniforms you claim got burned. I hope you didn't throw them away and just bring me a couple of raggedy socks. I hope you brought me the stuff you want to claim here today.
Okay, what I bought today was I didn't even, at that time when it happened, I didn't think that it was going to get this far. So
let me see what you kept.
And
then you tell me what you threw out.
Okay. I didn't throw anything out. The attendant actually threw them out.
No, the attendant's not going to throw out your clothes. That's not true.
When they burned, he actually did put them in the dumpster.
Yeah, you took pictures that day, right?
Yeah, I took
That's
pictures.
right. Did you take pictures of each thing before it got tossed out, like the expensive stuff that you're claiming now? You didn't take a picture of it, but you took a picture of the inside where it shows a raggedy sock?
Well, at that time, I didn't think that it was going to get this far, so I didn't take a picture of every
sweetheart,
individual
at that
item.
time, you did think it was going to get this far because you took your camera phone and you peeked into the thing and you took pictures to record what had happened. You were very clear that it was going to get this far. So you cannot blame lack of pictures of expensive stuff on I didn't know it was going to get this far, because then you wouldn't have taken any pictures. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. So we see the pictures. This is I recognize it, a Hollister shirt.
Yes.
Okay, because it actually stinks of smoke too. Is this all you brought me?
That's all I bought, but that's not all of the clothes.
Okay. Can you show me any proof that all the valuable items that you have totaling $2,100 and something were in there through your pictures that you apparently took or through bringing me the burnt clothing? Can you do that? Or is this all your proof?
That's everything.
That's
I
all
gave
your
you
proof.
is all my proof
Gotcha.
that I have.
I find in favor of the plaintiff in this case in the amount of $50.
Well, $50, you won the case, but do you feel like you won?
No. I feel like that's all the evidence that I brought here today. I wasn't going to bring like a whole laundry bag here. I thought that I would bring, some of the clothes that were burned.
You had more laundry that you could have brought that you didn't bring.
But in the pictures, it would picture of the whole laundry bag, so I don't understand why that wasn't justified.
Mm-hmm. Well, $50, what can you buy if you go shopping for clothes for $50? What can you buy nowadays?
Probably a shirt.
All right, good. Get yourself a nice shirt. All right, head right down this way.
Thank you.
All right, so come on in here. What happened? What happened? How could this happen?
Things happen.
Harvey?
Short story, she tried to scam the judge, and it hurt her in terms of what she got because her credibility got blown to smithereens. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This summer, try the new Strato Frappuccino blended beverage at Starbucks. It's the classic blended iced coffee you know and love, now topped with a creamy layer of handcrafted brown sugar cold foam. Available for a limited time. Your Strato Frappuccino is ready at Starbucks.
This is the plaintiff, Brian Parnell. He says the defendant, someone he knew from his old neighborhood, sold him a bad car and didn't tell him it had been totaled in an accident. He told the unethical woman he wanted his money back, and she refused. There are lemon laws in this country. What this woman did to him isn't fair, and he's here to get his very hard-earned $1,500 returned. This is the defendant, Alana Dennis. She says the plaintiff gave her some of the money for the car, but not all of it. And as time went by, it became clear he wasn't going to be able to pay for the car in full. When she refused to refund his money, the punk cursed her out and called her a hoe and a crackhead. This kid has some nerve calling her those things, and it'll be a cold day in you-know-where before she gives him his money back. She's accused of unloading a piece of junk. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $1,500 for storage and aggravation.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the defendant sold the plaintiff a bum car that had been in an accident but didn't tell the person. The defendant says the plaintiff didn't even pay for the car. It's the case of give him the hook.
Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Brian Parnell, you are suing Alana Dennis, your friend's sister.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? For $1,500 in a deposit that you put down in a '94 Honda Civic with her that she refuses to return to you, that you feel you have a right to have returned. You have a counterclaim against him for $1,500, $800 for storage for 8 months, and $200 for aggravation, and $500 for removing the motor. What's going on?
She was selling the car for like $3,000, and I gave her half for the shell. She was going to take the motor.
Did you agree to buy it at $3,000?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you had seen the car?
Yes, ma'am.
You had test driven the car?
No.
No? Why come?
Couldn't start.
It wouldn't start? Where'd you want it? '94 Honda? This had to have some extra stuff on it because I don't understand. I'm not following.
It didn't have no extra stuff. It had a broken window, no tail lights.
So why are you buying this hoopty? Is this your first car?
I couldn't trust her.
Well, you trust her. You don't know her from a hole in the wall. Is this your first car?
Yes, ma'am. I didn't know
Why didn't you take somebody? I understand. There's a first time for everybody, but why didn't you take somebody who knew something with you? So that...
I really didn't have anybody.
Oh, right. Who's that lady next to you?
My mother.
But why didn't you take her?
I was pretty stubborn.
Come on up, Mom. What's going on?
I decided to keep out of it. On the day that he said he's going to pay her the money, I said, can I go with you? And he said yes. So we went over to our house, and she said $1,500. I'm just going to tell you what happened on that particular night. She came out, he gave her the money, and I said to her,
what day?
September 28th of last year. Somehow she convinced him that it can be used for, those drag racing. So it was something like
now we start to make sense.
Right. So she convinced him, or whoever convinced each other. So she said it had a souped-up engine.
Okay.
She was going to take it out.
Why don't you just tell me the truth? Why do I have to go to your mama for that?
It had a souped-up engine.
Sorry, yeah.
She's going to take it out. It had some red and white seats. She said those were custom. She's going to take those out.
She tells him all this?
She's telling me all of this. Then it had souped-up rims. She's going to take that out.
And he was fine with all that.
So I said, what is he getting for $1,500?
No, $3,000.
No, $1,500.
$1,500 is what he's paying right then, but he's supposed to pay $3,000.
That's what I am witnessing too, $1,500. I don't know nothing about the $3,000.
You don't even know about the other
so
things.
I said to him, what are you getting? I asked her, what is he getting for $1,500? So after she takes out all of that, the only thing she said that she would put a motor in so that the car could be moved. So I said, when he handed over the money to her, I said, well, isn't he gonna get a receipt? So I brought my receipt book with me, and she wrote him the receipt.
Let me see.
She even wrote the receipt to herself, which I had to correct her and said, no, you can't write the receipt to yourself. You have to write the receipt to him.
Right.
And then I said to her, well, you're gonna write on it that if he cannot get the car to be registered, you're going to give him his money back.
The car is not title. I will refund the money in full amount.
Right.
And you say that that means what?
Well, when you purchase a car...
If she doesn't give him a clear title, then he can register.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, and then you left. And so did you lie to her and tell her you were only paying $1,500 for it?
No, he didn't.
She said she was going to take out the engine, so the shell of the car was only $1,500.
Back it up. I left off with you're buying the car for $3,000.
Yeah, and then we changed the agreement because
what'd you change it to?
We'll only buy the shell
for $1,500.
$1,500. That's it. I never
Meaning
got
what? What's the shell? Everything but the engine.
Engine.
Okay. What about the seats? Your mom says that she told you also you weren't getting the seats, you weren't getting the rims.
She's gonna put in some other seats.
Right, and she'll just put in some other rims.
Yeah, some other stuff.
And you'll just get like the tin worm.
Yeah.
No extra charge, and that was fine with you. And did you sign something that said that? Well, yeah, you gave the $1,500 is what you did. And then what happens? Then you realize this is not such a good deal for you?
I didn't get no title, no car, so I asked for my money back.
Well, you didn't get no title, no car, because according to her, you still owed money for other things you were negotiating, right?
Yes, ma'am.
According to you, he's buying the car for $3,000.
Yes.
And then that changes into what?
First of all, let me explain. The car is a Honda Civic. It's a 94 Honda Civic. It's not a piece of junk. I have pictures of the car when the car was clean with paint job and everything. The car got hit
when the car was clean,
which means body work, everything is done, nothing.
Yeah, but that's fine. But you have pictures of a car that doesn't exist. I got pictures of me looking 22 and firm.
I also have the pictures. I also have the pictures of the car when the car was hit, as they saw it. He knew what was wrong with the car. He talked about he told me to take out the motor because he's gonna get a K-Series. A K-Series is a faster motor than what I had in the car. That's for racing.
Okay. So now you renegotiate the $3,000.
Yes.
You're gonna take the motor out?
Yes.
The seats out?
Yes.
And the rims?
Yes, because the motor, the seats were Recaro seats. That's $800 seats. I was gonna put in factory seats back in the car.
Okay.
The rims, one of the rims were bent.
Because this is what? To try to get it to him because he's complaining that he can't afford it?
Yes, ma'am.
So if you take out the motor, the seats, and the rims, you will now hand it over to him at what price? The price he'd already paid?
$1,100. It's $1,100 for the shell without the motor, and it's $400 for the rims because one is messed up. Those rims with the tire is $700. So I'm giving him a good deal.
Can I see a picture of the car? See, I'm just kind of like fascinated, but really it doesn't matter. If you want to pay $7,000 for this pen, this is America, and if you want to pay me that and I want to sell it to you for that, you can pay me. This is America, you know? This is America. There's no law against that.
I told him I would give him headlights. He then turns around and say, okay. I told him anything he needed help for that he couldn't find because he's a new first-time guy in the Honda game.
What's the Honda game?
The Honda game is a bunch of kids who get Hondas and hook them up and go out and, you know.
Race. You can say it. We all know what you're thinking. Race. So now the deal changes to $1,500. You get a new set of rims or no?
Shakira, OG Shakira rims.
What do you say? Is that what the last thing she said not true?
Yes, Honor, it's true.
It is true. Okay, so now we're at $1,500 with 4 Shakira rims.
Shakira
rims.
Shakira rims,
okay,
yes.
Minus a motor plus stock seats. And then what goes wrong?
After that, the next week he comes back. Alana, I really want your car. Please don't take out the motor. Keep the motor in.
And what? And I'll buy the car for the original $3,000?
Yes, I'll give you the $15,000.
Is that part true?
Yes.
And I'll buy it at the original price?
Yes.
And then I see that later on, like a month later, you still haven't come up with the ponied up the dough, and then you're trying to renegotiate it again at that point. And what is it that you renegotiated to then?
$1,500 because I feel like I'm being scammed out my money because $1,500
So now
for
you
the
want
motor.
back the original deal, which you take out the motor.
Yeah.
And then it's back to the $1,500, like we said?
Yes, ma'am.
And then what happens?
He said he didn't want the car no more. So I'm like, you know what? I can't take it. Just take me to court. I kept saying, just take me to court. I couldn't deal with it
So
anymore.
where's the car right now?
It's in my yard.
And you have a counterclaim against him for $1,500.
Yes, ma'am.
For $800 in storage, which you never had a storage agreement with him.
No.
And $200 for aggravation. I'm not sure why 200. That's like some magic number. And $500 for what?
My friend had to take the motor out. I had to pay him to take
motor
out the
out, motor in. Motor out, motor in. Okay. You didn't pay your friend $500 to take the motor out.
Yes, I did.
You have proof of that?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
So, if you're a parent, do you ever buy your kid a car that he wants to use for drag racing?
Oh, no. I wouldn't do that, not at all.
Is there any circumstance that you would say drag racing is okay?
Absolutely not. It's unsafe.
It's almost more than unsafe. You got to pick a stronger word than unsafe.
It's ludicrous.
Okay. I don't want to get into rap music right now, though. That's the thing. Going inside the courtroom.
So right now, what have you got sitting on your property?
The shell.
The shell
with the rims.
With
the
which
pink rims that he asked for.
Which ones?
The
Shakira?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shakira.
With what else?
And the seats.
The stock seats?
Everything that he was.
So everything from the $1,500 version is there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go pick up your car. Because you can't get your money back. You can't change the deal over and over. And really, it's kind of starting to look like you're going to lose your $1,500. This little note that says here, if the car is not titled, I will refund. Your mom has explained means exactly what I think it means, which is if she can't provide a clear title. If she can't provide a clear title, this is a whole other case for a whole other judge. But I have no evidence in front of me to suggest that. Go pick up the car. We'll make arrangements for him with Officer McIntosh so that you two have as little contact as possible. And that's the end of this case. Good luck, folks, on your counterclaim against him. Do you have a counterclaim for $1,500? I don't think so. Okay.
All right, both sides hold on right there.
So the judge rules that the plaintiff cannot undo the deal that you struck. Step in here. What's your reaction to this, and what are you going to do?
Just take up the car and that's it.
You're going to pick it up?
Yeah.
Without the motor in it and whatever it's got, whatever.
Yeah.
Right? And then you're going to do what? Put the motor in, or are you going to?
Probably sell it all for junk it.
Mm-hmm. Did you want it for racing? Is that what it was?
No, I just want something to get around.
Get around?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. All right. So head right down there. He bought his car and he's stuck with it. All right. So step on in here. Did you know this the whole time that you were in the right?
Yeah, I know I was in the right. He claimed he knew the law. I said, okay, since you know the law, just take me to court. I couldn't deal. It was a whole back and forth with, yeah, I want the car, I don't want the car. When I had 3 other buyers, I just couldn't deal.
You know an awful lot about this subject.
It's not that I know an awful lot. I mean, I'm just saying
cars.
Yeah, cars because I'm into the cars, but I'm just telling him
How'd you get so into cars?
I have a lot of friends that's boys that's into cars, and we all hang out and we fix up cars and stuff.
You can fix cars up?
Yes, I can.
Good. All right.
I used to work at a body shop.
Wow. Harvey.
You know, you can have as much protection in a contract as you write in. Here, they didn't write in enough stuff to protect them, and that's how you lose a case. Write down specifically what your expectations are, and you will be better off in the end.